Hello and welcome to Self-Care in Uncertain Times, Sawyer Free Library program about taking care of ourselves during this pandemic and during the winter months as well. We are so excited to have Janet Green Garrison with us this evening. She is a local yoga and meditation instructor. She's been teaching yoga for over 40 years. She is also a certified drug and alcohol counselor. So she also brings that intuitive and sensitivity to her teachings. And we are just so excited to have her. We're going to have a presentation by Janet and then a short Q&A period afterwards. Welcome everybody. Janet, I am so excited that you are here. Let me pin you. There we are. Thank you so much for coming. And we look forward to this evening very much.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Mari. I love being asked to do these kinds of talks. So as a yoga teacher, I'm guessing that was probably the draw to come tonight. And I guess I want to just let you all know that we're not going to really be doing yoga postures tonight with only about a half an hour or 45 minutes. I wanted to offer certainly yoga, but perhaps not the typical what most people think of as yoga, which are the asanas or the postures, the pretzel-y things that, I metaphorically call it, we're not going to put our foot behind our head tonight. Okay, so you can let that one go. But yoga is and yoga and meditation, and that's the other thing. A lot of people think these are two different disciplines. Actually, if there's such a thing as a goal in the practice and study of yoga, it would be to become a great meditator, with all of it being the point of discovering who you are. That wonderful question, who am I? Well, it's kept me busy 45 years, and I expect it'll keep me busy for another few years. I don't expect in this lifetime to figure that out, but I do try to wake up every day asking myself, how can I live this day and discover more about who I really am? So there are many, many techniques under the umbrella called yoga. There are the yoga asanas or postures, exercises, which a friend of mine calls them inner sizes. Instead of exercisers, it's inner sizers, because what makes a bridge pose or a high plank pose or a shoulder roll different than just sitting here doing a shoulder roll is the word yoga. The root of it means union or yoking. And it's the union and yoking of all parts of a human being, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. Okay, so if I'm in a yoga class and I'm doing my shoulder rolls and I'm thinking about lunch, it's just a shoulder roll. But if I'm paying very, very close attention to all parts of that shoulder roll, and I'm noticing how that is today, and I'm noticing where my mind is, and I'm bringing it back to the physical, and I'm adding the breath, because pranayama, which is another one of the 8 limbs of a holistic yoga practice, prana means the creative life force. And we find prana in every breath we take, but it's more than just breathing exercises. Prana is found in everything. It's in the food we eat, it's in the rocks, it's in the ocean, it's in the sky, it's in the trees. Prana, life force, is everywhere. So already you might be beginning to get the picture that yoga is a multi-leveled, ancient, 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, spiritual tradition that offers pathways to discovering who we are, who we are beyond the body, beyond the mind, right? I mean, this is a little deep already here. But when we let go of the body and we let go of the mind, there's something left, right? Mm. And you might call it spirit, you might call it higher power, you might call it soul, you might call it whatever, but it's something beyond the body and mind. So this is all part of yoga. So I mentioned yoga is as a holistic system. So there are 8 limbs, they call them limbs, 8 limbs to yoga. And the postures are the 3rd limb. They're not even considered the 1st limb or the 2nd limb. So the first 2 limbs, the first limb is called the Yamas, and there are 5 Yamas, and the 2nd limb there is the Niyamas, and there's 5 Niyamas. And I'm not going to list them all, but they are, and I kind of reflect the 10 Commandments, but I don't want to make you think in any way that yoga is a religion, because it's not. It's a spiritual tradition, and people of every religion practice yoga. Priests, rabbis, Buddhist monks, Muslims, people of all religions can practice yoga, and it can actually enhance your personal religion with a spiritual richness. One of my favorite comments of one of my students who was peeling herself up off the floor at the end of a Saturday morning yoga class years ago, she looked at me and she said, "This is like going to the gym and church at the same time." And I knew just what she felt like. I kind of feel the same way. So the 5 Yamas and Niyamas, the first one, and I'm not going to go through all of them, but just to give you an idea, the first Yama is ahimsa, a Sanskrit. So yoga is all written in Sanskrit. So ahimsa means non-violence. Or another way to flip it in a positive way is kindness. Okay. Another of the yamas is honesty, truthfulness. Another one is contentment, being content with who you are, what you have, with the world, being content. Another one is self-reflection and self-study. Another one is cleanliness. Okay, now if you're thinking about body, mind, and spirit, let's just take cleanliness. Well, I got that one down. I take a shower every day, most every day. In COVID, maybe a little less often, okay? But, you know, I take a shower and I clean my house, relatively speaking, okay? But let's take it deeper, okay? That's cleanliness on the outside. How clean am I in my thoughts? Do I think negative, judgmental, nasty thoughts about someone who's irritating to me? Do I swear, perhaps? Do I catch myself gossiping? Is that a kind thing to do? Okay, so there are 5 niyamas, 5 yamas, and the reason those are the first 2 limbs of yoga is because you can well imagine if you were a treacherous traitor, cheater, liar, nasty person and went to a yoga class and all the radios were gone and all the telephones were off and the TVs were off and you laid down on your yoga mat and there was nothing to distract you and the teacher was asking you to go inside and notice how you feel. I don't think someone who's leading that kind of life is going to last very long on the yoga mat. They're going to freak themselves out because they're going to be faced with themselves. Okay, so the third limb are the postures. The fourth limb are the breathing, pranayama, connecting with your breath, learning how to move with the wave of your breath, learning about the extreme importance of the breath and we're going to do a little bit of that. Every breath we take, this is a pretty heavy thought, every breath we take has a unique message to you and has a unique chemistry that puts out hormones and chemicals within the body. For an example, if we sat here and hyperventilated for a minute, can you imagine how you'd feel in a minute? Think about how you breathe when you cry, or the last time you picked up a little kid off the cement. Okay, what does that tell your body? And in response, how does your body react when you're driving down the highway and someone doesn't see you and they pull out right in front of you? What's the first thing you do? Right, before you even put your foot on the brake, it's that is like the red button being pushed to every system in your body, and it's like, oh my God, get ready. Now, if we go through our lives as we are right now, every single one of us is going through an unprecedented amount of change. And we are all bracing ourselves all the time, almost all the time. We are all challenged with techno stuff that we were never challenged with before, with how to still relate and feel connected to our loved ones, how to be in our houses all day long and not eat everything that's in sight. How to stay healthy through all of this. So there's an old adage, actually not so old, it's a fairly new adage that says neurons that fire together wire together. How many people have heard that? Neurons that fire together wire together. So if our brains, here's an example of yoga mind. If our brains are going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't believe it, this is blah, 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 geez, oh man, da, la, 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 la. You're building a very deep groove in your brain and in your body that's putting you on panic alert all the time. Whereas if you start to practice something like yoga, going for a good long walk out in nature and not allowing yourself to be, going over and over the stressors, reading a great book that takes you away for a while, going on to Zoom or FaceTime with a friend for that 15 minutes, that counts. For that 15 minutes, you're not in that stressed out. I don't know if any of you read the final page, the back of the Sunday magazine that comes with the Globe. There's always that article in the very back. If you've got it at home, go and read it. It's a wonderful little thing about getting the meditation theta alpha waves going, and even that being beat out by laughter. So carefully, so you might not think of this as part of yoga. I do. Very carefully pick what you watch on TV. How much news do you put in front of yourself? How many times do you have to hear if I have one more conversation about the COVID vaccine, blah, we're all going to have it by the end of March somehow, and the stress that people are going through about getting the vaccine. I mean, we're all still going to be masked, right? We're all still going to be careful. You'll get it. You'll get it. Pick your stressors. But also give yourself time to do other things. Okay, so I could go on and on. I didn't go through all the limbs. Pranayama. The next limb is something called pratyahara. Pratyahara is withdrawal of the senses, meaning you sit still, you get down, you get comfortable in a chair or on the floor, and you start your breathing, and you get comfortable in your posture. And then you notice how your mind is still off there, noticing what you're hearing, what you're thinking, what's the noises. You bring your attention inside. That's the beginning of meditation. When we say we start our yoga class with 3 minutes of meditation, it's not 3 minutes of meditation. It's 3 minutes of getting comfortable in the body, noticing the breath, starting to extend the exhalations, which if I don't do anything here tonight, I'm going to talk about the breath. Extending the exhalation, which encourages the parasympathetic, rest and digest part of the nervous system to become alive. And then we start to withdraw our attention from outside to inside. And that's the fifth limb. The sixth limb is we allow ourselves to do that for a little bit of time, and we keep bringing the mind back every time it wanders. Instead of beating yourself up the head, right? Because people think meditation is emptying my mind of all thought for 20 minutes and not thinking about anything. And that's how I was taught. And I was a failure in about 3 seconds. So I gave it up. I didn't try to meditate because I couldn't do that definition. That's not meditation. Okay? Our mind is meant to think. So we practice. And we sit down and maybe we focus on the inhale and the exhale, thought. Oh, gee, there I am thinking. Smile. I just woke up again. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhaling, thought. Oh, there I am thinking again. Smile, inhale, exhale. That's called practice. So after pratyahara, we start to concentrate. Once we get really good at concentrating, we kind of fall into contemplation. Instead of concentration, we go deeper contemplation. Finally, the final limb is meditation. So meditation is not separate from yoga. It's all part of the same program. Okay. So I completed that thought. Okay. Let's do a little practice of breathing. Okay. So get comfortable. I see some of you are really comfortable. You're on your couch and you're like, yeah, you're really comfortable. Let's come to whatever chair you're sitting in and see if you can kind of come to the edge of it, put your feet on the floor, roll your shoulders, get the in AA. So, I spent 35 years working in various drug and alcohol milieus, and I learned a lot. I love the 12-step program. It's a marriage. I married yoga and 12-step philosophy because 12-step recovery addresses the body, mind, and spirit. When I walked into my first drug and alcohol interview and they told me it was a threefold disease, I'm going like, oh my gosh, that's yoga. So I married those right up in my mind many, many years ago. And so I know in AA a lot, they talk about the shoulders, they call them the shoulders. That's, that's where we put all those, I should have done this and I should have done that. And so just roll and let all that stuff that you think you should have been doing, just let it off. There you go. Okay. So we'll sit up straight. This just allows for more room. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, right? We've got kidneys and gallbladders and lungs and diaphragms and adrenal. We've got a lot of stuff in there that's got a lot of work to do. That's all part of the autonomic nervous system. We don't even have to think about it. And yet we know now that our thoughts affect our digestion, our breathing, our heart rate, all that stuff that was called autonomic nervous system. Now we're finding out, right? Because stress, right? When I started studying this stuff back 40 years ago in graduate school and yoga, all of this was starting to really come up about how stress is a part of every disease. Okay. So let's give our lungs plenty of room. And we're just going to do a gentle breathing. The exhalation is the relaxation portion of the breath. So the exhalation is going to be the invitation to relax. And they've also measured it, research has been done, that when you lengthen the exhalation, it stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the other side of the sympathetic. Sympathetic is fight, flight. And I want to say something about this because I studied this in college, taught it for years and years and years, and it wasn't, and I want to mention this woman, Tara Brach, T-A-R-A, Tara Brach. Maybe Mario will filter that out to you guys. If you're looking for something inspiring, educational, peaceful, tune in, just YouTube on your TV or on your cell phone, YouTube Tara Brach. She has hours and hours and hours of talks, hour-long talks. She has guided meditations. She's the one who gave me the idea that I could smile at myself when my thoughts were wandering off. I always beat myself over the head. Oh, you can't even keep your mind still for 3 seconds. She's the one who said, smile and realize you just woke up. Okay. So Tara Brach is great. I can't remember what I was talking about there, but, oh, this is what she said. The sympathetic nervous system is always up. It is always on the alert. Well, what are we going to do about that? Well, it's always on the alert because it's what saves our lives. It's what takes our hand off the hot stove. It's what puts our foot on the brake. It's what tells us put on an extra layer of clothes. It's freezing outside. So like the moment you wake up in the morning, it's like, remember those old antennas on cars? Like, it's like those antennas go up and they start looking around. What is everything okay? Is she going to be okay today? What's going on? That's the sympathetic nervous system. And it's good that it's always alert. What's bad is when it's feeding observations to us and we're choosing to take those observations and say, oh my God, stress, stress, stress. And it's automatic. You don't have to say, okay, antennas, start. You don't have to say anything. Man, you don't have to, it takes a second. It's there, less than a second. So let's think about the other side of that, the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic, it's not up and working all the time. First of all, you have to realize that you need to elicit the parasympathetic. You have to cop to the fact that you're under a lot of stress. Then you need to know how to do it. So there's some education involved, and then there's practice. Because I can teach this stuff till I'm blue in the face if I don't just sit myself down, shut myself off, start my breathing, start my guided visualizations, start my positive affirmations, start my mantras, start my mudras, start practicing the techniques that are proven to work. Intellectually knowing about it ain't going to do it. You got to practice it. And the good news is that the more you practice it, the better you get at it. It's a skill. It's a skill that anybody who's willing to take the time and practice it will get better and better. And neurons that fire together wire together. So if you every day give your body and your mind and your heart 10, 15, 20 minutes of conscious deep relaxation, or a conscious walk in nature, okay, you're going to get better and better at it, okay? And the system won't be revved up like your tires on ice, going nowhere and wearing you down, okay? So sitting up nice and tall. It's good if you can breathe in and out through your nose, in and out through your nose. And what we're going to do is we're going to practice. This might be really odd and difficult for some people. Other people are going to say, oh, I get this, you know. But we're going to gradually increase our exhalation. And while we're doing that, I want you not to stress out about it. I want you not to, if you can't exhale all the long time, I'm asking you to, don't. Make it work for you, okay? Okay. So just so you know ahead, we're going to inhale 4 and exhale 4 a couple times. We're going to inhale 4 and exhale 6. We're going to inhale 4 and exhale 8. Now remember, I've been doing this for decades and decades. This is a piece of cake for me. It might not be for you, so let it be just fine. It's a practice. You have the rest of your life. Now, I also want you to see if you notice, as we lengthen that exhalation, I want you to look for the coming down, that feeling of coming down. Okay? Okay. I can't ask if there's any questions. You can ask questions later. Okay. Ready? First, if you're comfortable closing your eyes, it'll just block out, right? Pratyahara. It'll start bringing you in. If you're not comfortable with your eyes closed, keep them slightly open, but keep them trained on one point so they're not darting around. Here's another little yoga secret. When your eyes dart around, your mind darts around. So focus your gaze on one point or close your eyes and feel the heaviness in your eyelids. Take a few of your own very easy, natural breaths. Don't try to change anything. Feel your body. Feel your bottom. Stable, rooted to the surface that you're on. You might gently put your hand or hands on your belly so you can better feel the gentle expansion on the inhale and the gentle contraction on the exhale. And if this is all you do for the next 5 minutes, this will be great. And I'm going to start to count. Let's all inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You count the next one just the same. We'll go for 8. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do 2 more like that. Change it in any way you need to. When you get to the end, give your breathing back to its own easy, gentle flow. Keep the flow easy, gentle, and we'll stop for just a minute. I'll be quiet. Follow the flow of your breath. Before coming back, give yourself 1 more minute. Before coming back, pause and notice how you feel. Open your awareness and get really familiar with this feeling tone that you created, so it gets easier and easier for you to bring yourself back to this place. And when you're ready, open your eyes just a little sliver and find yourself back in your room. And if you feel really kind of good, let yourself smile and open your eyes another little sliver. And maybe the corners of the eyes and the corners of the mouth go up a little more, and notice what that posture that you're choosing to take on in your face does for your brain. Finally, opening your eyes and taking a nice deep breath, and any kind of stretch that you might like to take. And whenever I end a yoga practice, I always bring my hands to my heart and share a namaste. Namaste means the light within me acknowledges and salutes the light within you. Thank you all for sharing some yoga with me. Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janet. That was absolutely wonderful.
You're welcome.
Just lovely and relaxing. And wanted to mention your yoga practice, Yoga for Health. And that's here in Gloucester. We're really lucky to have you in our community.